Mommy, please don't send me back to that kindergarten.
Baby, what happened? Oh my god! Who did this?
I told my son to do it.
How could she?
She then sent 2 more pictures. One was a wedding photo of her and my husband. The other was a picture of me, my daughter, and my husband.
You homewrecker! You dared steal my husband and have an illegitimate child? It's a miracle I didn't have my son beat that brat to death.
Mason did well today. I'll make sure to give him a gold star tomorrow.
Prepare a divorce agreement per the prenup. I want David out with nothing. Also, my daughter was assaulted at the kindergarten. Bring a team over immediately. I want them to pay dearly. How dare a freeloader like David keep a mistress and a child on the side?
Luna, you're so low-key. If it weren't for all this, we wouldn't have known your husband is the CEO of Martin Group.
Exactly. No wonder I thought you had such a refined aura. The moment I saw you, it's that high-class grace that comes with wealth.
We're all here to support you today. We're proper mothers, and we can't let a low-class homewrecker push you around.
Right. What good could come from a homewrecker's daughter? Mason is truly the heir of Martin Group. He's already standing up for the people at such a young age.
Luna, let me know Mason's favorite foods, and we'll adjust the kindergarten menu to suit his taste from now on. Miss Walker, I've been instructed by the principal to inform you that Emily is expelled, effective immediately.
My daughter was attacked. Instead of seeking justice for her, you're expelling her?
This is an elite kindergarten. The children who come here all come from wealthy or mobile families. A child born from a homewrecker like you staying here would only damage our reputation.
I suggest you investigate who the real homewrecker and illegitimate child are before speaking.
How dare a filthy homewrecker like you flaunt yourself in front of me? Did you really think having a bastard child would let you take my place as Mrs. Jones?
You look decent, so why stoop to being a mistress and having a child?
Some people pretend to be innocent. The moment they see a rich man, they go wild, desperate to spread their legs.
Mistresses are the shame of all women, and their kids are even worse.
First, you told your son to bully my daughter, and now you're hitting me in public. Who gave you the audacity to act so lawlessly?
It's only right for a wife to slap a mistress. Besides, I'm the wife of the Martin Group CEO. Beating you and your filthy daughter is nothing. I could even take your lives, and it wouldn't matter.
If you hadn't been a mistress, Luna wouldn't have hit you. You brought this on yourself.
You're just a filthy mistress. Instead of keeping your head down, you're out here provoking us. Getting slapped is the least of what you deserve.
Yeah, you've got a taste for being a tramp. Huh? Who are you pretending to be the innocent victim for? We're not like those men blinded by lust.
You filthy woman, spending my husband's money like it's nothing. How dare you drive a Rolls Royce? A cheap mistress like you doesn't deserve this car. I hate mistresses more than anything. Every mistress on earth should die. Mistresses must die.
You'll soon realize how ironic those words are.
You filthy woman, living off my husband's money and acting all high and mighty. Today, I'll make sure you pay back every penny you've taken from him.
Look, there's a bunch of expensive stuff hidden in here.
A woman who makes her living selling herself is collecting art? Trying to act all cultured? It's an insult for trash like you to own something like this. Someone like you only deserves trash.
This looks like an authentic piece by James. I heard it starts at 300 million at auction.
So what if it's worth 300 million? It's all my husband's money anyway. My husband's money is my money. If I want to destroy my own stuff, what's the problem?
Let's not even mention that David was a penniless live-in husband. Even when I let him manage Martin Group, he lost nearly half of the company's value due to his incompetence. If he weren't my husband, I would have fired him long ago. But Luna and these other parents actually see him as some impressive CEO. Every single one of them looks up to him with admiration.
Why aren't you here yet? You need to be in front of me within 5 minutes.
Trying to call for help. Where do you get the nerve? Are you pretending to be someone important, huh? She's probably calling one of her clients to put on a show for us, ha ha ha.
I hope you'll still be laughing this hard in a few minutes. You knew my daughter was being bullied at school, didn't you?
So what if I did? A bastard daughter of a worthless mistress is nothing but trash. Mason was just taking out the trash. What's the issue?
That's why you're the teacher. You handle things so fairly and directly.
Exactly. This is an elite school. Not just anyone can come here.
Why does a mistress' daughter need an education? You should just teach her how to seduce men like you did. Who knows? Maybe she'll be even better at it and land a richer guy.
See that? This is what happens when you're a mistress. You and your daughter are destined to live at the bottom of society, hated by everyone.
Mrs. Jones, the principal said if this situation is resolved to your satisfaction, he hopes you can do us a favor. You know we're planning to expand the school, and all the land around here belongs to Martin Group. What do you think?
Don't worry. I'm very pleased with how you handled things today. When the time comes, I'll just say the word, and my husband will give you all the land you need.
Thank you in advance. Mrs. Jones.
Luna, my husband has worked with Martin Group before. Could you keep us in mind for future deals?
My company's looking to switch industries too. I'd love to have the chance to work with Martin Group in the future.
Luna, here's a no-limit shopping cart from my mall. I hope we can stay close.
See that? This is the power of money and influence. Someone like you, a nobody mistress, will spend your whole life spreading your legs, hoping for scraps from men. But me? I get to enjoy the kind of glory you'll never even dream of reaching. I'll give you one day. Take your bastard daughter and get out of this city. If I see you messing with my husband again, I'll bury that little brat of yours alive.
Mom, I'm scared. My foot. It hurts so much.
Did your son do this too?
Why the fuss? You should be glad I didn't have my son take that brat's life.
You filthy wench! How dare you lay a hand on Mrs. Jones? Are you tired of living?
Yeah, your brat isn't even dead yet. Why rush to join her?
Your kid's lucky Mason taught her a lesson. With trash like you for a mom, she deserves whatever she gets, even if it's death. Stop hitting my mom.
Mason, you've always known how to punish wrongdoers. You're such a good kid. Tomorrow, I'll make sure to praise you in front of the whole school and give you an award.
It's what I'm supposed to do. I'll beat that brat every time I see her.
You'll regret this.
Did I hear that right? A lowly mistress has the nerve to make threats.
Hilarious. This wench actually thinks she's someone important. Mrs. Jones is the CEO's wife. Squashing her is as easy as crushing an ant.
This worthless tramp can't do anything, so she's just throwing a tantrum. Haha.
What a disgrace. If I were her, I'd have already offed myself.
Ha ha ha. Regret? I've never regretted anything in my life. I'd love to see how someone like you could make me regret a thing.
The sound of the arrival of the luxury cars caught everyone's attention, and the originally noisy crowd immediately fell silent. Luna withdrew her foot, with her eyes focused on the convoy of luxury cars. David walked out wearing a custom-made suit, exuding charm.
Isn't that Mr. Jones?
Yes, it's him. Wow, even his entrance is so grand.
And he's so handsome too. No wonder that shameless woman was trying so hard to cozy up to him.
Honey, what are you doing here?
Didn't you mention you had a little run-in at the preschool? Of course. I came to back you and our son up.
Really? So no matter who messes with me, you'll always be on my side?
Of course. You and our son are my treasures. Anyone who dares to hurt you will have to deal with me.
I've always heard that Mr. Jones spoils his wife. Now, it's clear he really does.
Look at them. A perfect couple, if I've ever seen one.
Exactly. I don't understand how some people have the nerve to try to wreck their marriage.
And she dared to mess with Mrs. Jones. She's way out of her league. Mr. Jones is about to handle this. Let's see how that homeworker holds up now.
Dad.
Hey buddy, your mom tells me someone gave you trouble at school?
Yeah, there was this little brat. When I hit her, she almost pushed me down, but I really gave her a lesson. I even cut her toe.
Good job, my boy. You're really something. If anyone dares to fight back in the future, you hit them as hard as you want. Don't worry about it. I will handle everything afterward. Got it?
Got it, Dad.
Good boy.
Honey, it's that shameless mother and daughter over there.
The initial encounter I had with David transpired within the precincts of my own company. At that period, I was engaged in an internship. commencing from the most rudimentary level in order to amass experience. Back then, I was rather unremarkable, not possessing any particularly outstanding qualities. I was merely an insignificant individual within the company. David was likewise an intern, commencing his tenure simultaneously with mine. He was not especially astute and, in fact, even gave the impression of being somewhat obtuse. However, having been reared in a rural milieu, he was well acquainted with adversity. His work ethic was of a robust nature. He was the most assiduous of the interns, toiling ceaselessly and with unwavering focus upon his assigned tasks. Regardless of when I chanced to look, he was invariably engrossed before his computer, wholly absorbed in his work. His resolute determination left an indelible mark upon me. He was, originally, in jeopardy of being dismissed due to a lack of progress. With my surreptitious assistance, he was advanced in promotion ahead of schedule. On that particular day, he was suffused with joy. He seemed to radiate a newfound vitality and enthusiasm. After attaining the status of a full-time employee, he redoubled his efforts. What I esteemed most about him was his tenacity and his unyielding refusal to capitulate. Consequently, we gradually grew more intimate. As the time we spent in each other's company increased, I came to realize that this ostensibly reticent and reserved man was, in fact, possessed of a rather sharp wit. He frequently had me convulsed with laughter. Being in his presence invariably instilled within me a sense of ease and comfort. Even during moments of silence, his very presence afforded me a profound sense of tranquility. However, it was not until a rather gallant rescue that our relationship transcended the boundaries of friendship and evolved into something more profound. It occurred one night subsequent to the passing of my mother. I was ensconced in a bar, imbibing in an attempt to assuage my sorrow. Upon departing the bar, a group of inebriated men encircled me, subjecting me to harassment and taunts. I was petrified and felt utterly helpless. And it was precisely at that moment that David materialized like a chivalrous knight. Even though he ultimately endured a severe beating at the hands of those drunkards, he managed to extricate me from the perilous situation. That was the first instance in which my heart palpitated with a newfound emotion for this man who had risked all for my sake. Whilst I remained by his side during his convalescence in the hospital, I could not refrain from confessing my feelings. He received my confession with evident delight. And thus, our romantic liaison commenced. During the course of our relationship, I eschewed ostentation and comported myself as an ordinary individual. We partook of victuals from street vendors, meandered through parks, attended the cinema, and visited amusement parks. Life was simple yet replete with happiness. Subsequently, I escorted David to my family abode to make his acquaintance with my kin. When he discovered that I was the progeny of the wealthiest family, David became visibly nervous and somewhat rigid. My father was cognizant of David's rural provenance, yet he did not evince any disdain. He merely stated that he was indifferent to family status. For, after all, no one could surpass us in wealth. He had but a single stipulation. David would be required to marry me. Since I was his sole daughter, my father was averse to my marrying into another family. I had anticipated that David might vacillate, experience internal conflict, or even decline. After all, he was the sole son of his family. Furthermore, marrying into the wife's family could potentially be construed as somewhat demeaning for a man. However, much to my astonishment, David assented without a moment's hesitation. He even proffered a solemn vow then and there that he would cherish me with an undivided heart and me alone. To manifest his fidelity, David even appended his signature to a prenuptial agreement on that very day. The agreement stipulated that in the event of his infidelity or any act of unfaithfulness, he would depart empty-handed. I was deeply and profoundly touched in that moment. After our nuptials, David was invariably kind and gentle in his comportment towards me. He tended to my every need in every conceivable manner. Even though our daughter bore my surname, he evinced not the slightest demur. He lavished her with affection and care, treating her as the very apple of his eye. To endow him with greater standing and prestige in the external realm, I even entrusted him with the management of the Martin Group. I merely desired that he possess a more elevated status and reputation. Even though he did not manage the company with consummate skill, I never proffered any complaint. All that I yearned for was for the three of us to lead a contented life in unison. For so many years, I was enmeshed in the affectionate facade that David had so meticulously crafted. I truly and sincerely believed that he was an exemplary husband and a superlative father. Reflecting upon it now, all that I experience is a profound sense of irony and a rueful awareness of my erstwhile folly.
Dad, what are you doing?
Do not weep, dear. Your father is simply incensed at the individual who has injured you. He is eager to champion your cause.
Behold him. Mr. Jones' visage is pallid with rage. He must be livid.
Precisely. A man might engage in dalliance with a mistress for diversion, but no one would permit her to show disrespect to his wife and inflict harm upon his beloved son.
Indeed, this brazen mistress must have overstepped the mark with Mr. Jones.
That reprobate is doomed today. Retrieve your mobile phones, for we are on the verge of witnessing a spectacle.
Darling, I am cognizant that she is the mistress you have been clandestinely harboring. You need not dissemble before me. Have no concerns. Provided that you chastise her appropriately on this occasion and pledge never to see her again, I shall pardon you. Proceed. You may now deal with her.
Daddy, why are the other children addressing you as Daddy too?
You insignificant imp, desist from addressing him as Daddy. It appears that I did not administer a sufficient lesson to you today. How dare you attempt to wrest my daddy from me? I shall thrash you to within an inch of your life today.
Keep your distance from her.
David, what are you about? What transgression has Mason committed? Why would you hurl him to the ground on account of this insignificant brat? Or is it that, in your heart, our son is not as significant as some bastard offspring of a mistress of yours? What is so remarkable about that harlot that she has ensnared you so completely?
Emily, are you unharmed? Did you sustain any injury?